promoting dialogue.
It's midday in Dakar and Monrovia, 1 o'clock in Cotonou. Good afternoon and many thanks for staying tuned to West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and worldwide at wadr.org. Welcome to Newslink. Here are the top stories. Excavation uncovers human remains with bullet shells as inquiry continues into 1944 massacre of Senegalese riflemen by French army. Reaction trails Liberia's election to the UN Security Council.
If you're talking about sitting on the UN Security Council to make decisions or to shape global decisions, then you have to do more locally to ensure that you are leading by example, you are operating transparently and accountably.
Prices of rams and livestock increase in Benin amid Tabaski Festival. The Nigerian government and partners inaugurate Africa's first medical center of excellence.
This center symbolizes a shared African vision of self-reliance, regional integration, and the strengthening health system in line with the Agenda 2063, the African we want.
Details of these and other stories are coming up shortly.
Here is Augustine Coley with Newslink.
Many thanks for joining our broadcast. We begin right here in Senegal, where ongoing excavations at the African Rifleman Cemetery in Traoré have uncovered the first set of human skeletons along with bullet shells. This excavation effort, which started last May, aims to determine the number of Senegalese riflemen killed by the French army during the 1944 massacre. The human remains that have been unearthed will be analyzed to guide further decisions. Abdullahi Hassan reports.
The excavations by archaeologists have so far uncovered human skeletons with bullets in their bodies, probably those of African riflemen killed by the French army in 1944. For some, the bullets are at chest level and are of different calibers. However, ballistics testing could help determine the nature of the bullets and weapons used, as well as DNA analysis to also identify any victims buried at the site. This discovery was made after the excavation of a small part of the Charoui military cemetery. As a reminder, the archaeological excavation carried out over the past month at the request of the new Senegalese authorities should shed light on the massacre of African riflemen in December 1944 at the Charoui military camp in Senegal. It is one of the worst colonial massacres committed by French army officers in West Africa. While the French authorities maintain the contemporary version of 35 deaths, several historians put the number of victims at a much higher level of up to 400. At the end of November 2024, the French state recognized that there had indeed been a massacre in Charoui on December 1, 1944.
Abdullahi Hassan fight that report. Away from Senegal, reactions are trailing the Liberian government's elections as a non-permanent member to the United Nations Security Council. Liberia will represent Africa alongside the Democratic Republic of Congo on the UN Security Council from 2026 to 2027. The West African state contested unopposed and secured the non-permanent seat with 181 votes. Despite this achievement, many Liberians, including civil society organizations, are expressing concerns about the current state of governance under President Joseph Boakai's administration. Let's hear from Anderson Miamen, the Executive Director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia.
If you're talking about sitting on the UN Security Council to make decisions or to shape global decisions that will promote peace and security across the world, of which corruption is a key part or bad governance is a key part, then you have to do more locally to ensure that you are leading by example, you are operating transparently and accountably, you are utilizing your resources properly, and you're doing those things that will promote the rule of law. So if you can do that, there will be a contradiction to go at that very highest level to talk about maintaining peace and order across the globe. It also presents an opportunity for Liberia to seek the interests of its own citizens. So with the War and Economic Crimes Code and all the other things that we aim to do, having specialized courts that can deal with corruption issues, dealing with audit and other related issues. So these are all different policy priorities that the government of Liberia can put before the different partners while engaging to foster peace and security across the region or across the world.
Anderson Miame is the Executive Director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. Meanwhile, a state-of-the-art mining concentrator plant valued at $1.4 billion has been initiated in the central region of Liberia to enhance the country's mining sector. This facility is designed to improve the extraction process by separating valuable materials, particularly iron ore. WADR's Monrovia correspondent Ibrahim Parker reports.
During the inauguration ceremony, President Joseph Boakai highlighted the significance of investments aimed at improving the livelihoods of ordinary Liberians. He expressed hope that the project would have a lasting positive impact on the local community.
Such an investment should reflect on the people because they have the story, their children should be able to say, this is what came out of what happened here. This investment means a lot to many people.
Meanwhile, Laxmi Mentar, global chairman of Asla Mentar, emphasized the plan's potential to employ over 3,000 citizens, reinforcing the company's commitment to the economic development of the country.
And we are continuing to invest in community, in the school, in the vocational training.
Also speaking at the event, Nima County Superintendent Ko Mapi Godno urged Asla Mentar Liberia to prioritize hiring local citizens, stating that this is essential for fostering a mutually beneficial relationship between the company and the people of Liberia.
We respectfully urge that the current and future framework of mining operations give full effect to the Liberia's labor and mining laws, particularly those that give preference to qualified Liberians over foreign hires.
The establishment of this concentrator aims not only to enhance export volumes and increase revenue, but also to create direct job opportunities for residents in the surrounding counties of Nima, Grand Bassa, and Bong. Many Liberians living in the company's operational areas believe that Asla Mentar needs to do more to improve the lives of citizens through its corporate social responsibility initiatives. For Newslink on WADR, Ibrahim Parker, Monrovia.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Let's focus on Benin, a country in West Africa, like many others around the world, is celebrating the Tabaski Festival this Friday, June 6. This year's Tabaski celebration in Benin is similar to those of previous years, but with a significant difference. The price of sheep, the animal traditionally sacrificed on this important Islamic holiday, has doubled in the country. This increase is due to the closure of the Nigerian border and a ban on the export of sheep imposed by the Nigerian authorities. Imo Edet completes the story.
At the Zongo Livestock Market in Cotonou, there was not much crowd on the eve of the Tabaski festival due to the high price of the sheep, according to several customers. Salim is a ram seller in this market.
People don't come. Some people come with a small budget. You have to be able to buy a lot of things. I don't know. Some people say there is no money in the country.
Another seller on the site of the Ajejo district recognizes that for this Tabaski festival, the price of animals has doubled, even tripled because of the closure of the border with Niger, the neighboring country from where the sheep mainly come.
Here, the price is between 50,000, currently from 110,000 CFA francs to around 500,000 as well.
In addition, the livestock market, which is running at a slow pace this year, is a drain on the local economy. Rostico Rodriguez, Beninese economist, speaks about the situation.
These are going to cost Beninese a bit more because there are some countries that have refused to import to Benin. The objective is to satisfy the local demand. So, when you see all these aspects, you realize that border weakness plays an extremely important role.
Amid these challenges, the Muslim community in Benin is celebrating Tabaski this Friday, June 6, 2025.
A report from WADR's Cotonou correspondent Aziz Adam Sule, voiced by Imo Edit. Elsewhere in Ghana, President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to ban the importation and use of styrofoam plastics or food packaging material, often referred to as takeaway box. This decision aims to reduce plastic pollution, promote a cleaner environment, and advance environmental sustainability. Speaking on Thursday at an event to commemorate World Environment Day and the government's One Child, One Tree initiative, President Mahama described styrofoam as one of the most harmful pollutants. Here is the president's speech.
One of the other things we intend to do is to ban styrofoam as a food packaging material. One of the most pernicious polluters is styrofoam plastic. When you go to buy your food and they put it in that white plastic something, and then you finish eating, you just dump it. That is one of the biggest polluters. And so we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam plastics. We have to use paper packaging or aluminum foil for packaging our food. And so I'm informing the manufacturers and importers of styrofoam with the Ministry of Environment. Soon we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam and production of styrofoam in Ghana. Our food packaging will be made from paper and also from aluminum material.
Ghana's President John Mahama. Meanwhile, to some health matters, patients across health facilities in Ghana are bearing the brunt of a strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. The association is protesting what it describes as a year-long delay by the Ministry of Health in implementing the revised collective agreement signed in May 2024. WADR's Nadia Didite reports.
Public health services across Ghana have been severely disrupted by an ongoing strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, GRNMA. Nurses have abandoned their posts, leaving patients stranded and hospitals overwhelmed. The strike stems from delays in implementing the 2024 collective agreement, which addresses key issues such as unpaid allowances and delayed postings. The withdrawal of both outpatient and emergency services has left many facilities struggling to cope. Frustrated patients at various hospitals have been lamenting the impacts of the strike, with some describing their struggles to access care and the pain of being turned away without treatment.
It's unfortunate for me because my BP drugs are finished, so I wanted to come so that they can direct me to a doctor for them to write some prescription for me. Unlucky for me, they are on strike, so I have no other choice than to go home. With them, I can use the National Health to buy some of the drugs and purchase some free, but for now, I have to buy all of them. And it's not easy, being a dialysis patient and buying drugs. We are begging them to come back. We are pleading with them.
Health Minister Kwabena Mensah Kando, after touring affected facilities, appealed to the nurses and midwives to call off the strike in the interests of public health.
I will continue to appeal to them that in all these matters, what we have to do is to put the patient first. In my humble opinion, I do not think that strike is what will resolve the issue at the end of the day. No matter what, at the end of the day, we need to sit around the table to resolve the matter.
Meanwhile, the National Labour Commission has secured a court injunction to halt the strike after earlier declaring it illegal. The injunction, issued on June 5, 2025 by the High Court, restrains the GRNMA members from continuing with industrial action. It waits to be seen as to whether the nurses will comply with the latest court order. For WADR, Nadia Didite, Accra.
In more health matters, the Nigerian government, with support from partners, has officially inaugurated the African Medical Center of Excellence in Abuja. The facility represents a significant step towards achieving healthcare independence on the continent. Yechenun Sasitu reports from Abuja.
The 500-bed facility is supported by the African Export-Import Bank, Afrexim Bank, and developed in partnership with King's College Hospital in London. It will provide advanced care in specialties such as oncology, hematology, cardiovascular medicine, and general surgery, while also serving as a hub for medical training and research. At the inauguration, Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, described the center as a significant achievement, not only in terms of infrastructure, but also in ambition.
We are not gathered here because we lack hospitals. Far from it. We are here because the pursuit of excellence is endless. We are gathered because we refuse to accept mediocrity as our destiny. I'm also proud that Nigeria hosts the largest stem cell laboratory now in West Africa, located within this center.
In a demonstration of continental collaboration, Tanzania's Minister of Health, Jenista Joaquim Magama, highlighted the AMCE as an exemplary model for other African nations working to strengthen their healthcare systems.
This center symbolizes a shared African vision of self-reliance, regional integration, and the strengthening health system in line with the Agenda 2063, the African we want.
Also in attendance was Dr. Tajuddin Raji, Deputy Director General of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC. He emphasized that in addition to providing world-class care, the AMCE will also generate economic and human capital benefits.
With expertise in oncology, cardiology, and hematology, this center will not only treat patients, it will also create jobs, it will build capacity, it will go into research, it will go into innovation, and it also dive into what I describe as precision medicine, leveraging artificial intelligence.
According to the president of Afrexim Bank, Professor Benedict Orama, Africa is finally taking control of its healthcare destiny and is poised to contribute to setting global healthcare standards. For WADR, Yechi Nusasitu in Abuja.
You are still listening to Newslink on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Here is a reminder of our top stories. Excavation uncovers human remains with bullet shells as inquiry continues into 1944 massacre of Senegalese riflemen by French army. Reaction trails Liberia's election to the UN Security Council. The Nigerian government and partners inaugurate Africa's first medical center of excellence. Still ahead in the news, World Bank provides 240 billion CFA francs for road connectivity in Niger. We also have guest interview and sports news. Please stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
And thanks for staying with us. We are streaming live on YouTube at WADR News and Facebook WADR English Service. We now cross over to the Central Sahel region, where the government of Niger is set to benefit of a national investment of 240 billion CFA francs, approximately $400 million for the construction of its Southern Integration and Connectivity Project. This decision was formalized on June 4 in Niamey during a signing ceremony between Niger and the World Bank. Christopher Atijo completes the story.
The objective of this investment is to rehabilitate the Maradi-Zenda section of the RN1 and modernize 525 kilometers of feeder and rural roads. After initialing the agreement document, Prime Minister Ali Lamine Zain stated that the project will be carried out in several phases. This includes the Maradi-Zenda road, which covers 232.8 kilometers and is divided into 4 lots to allow Nigerian companies to complete, including certain offices such as the ONAHA and military engineering. While commending the World Bank for its support, the Prime Minister assured that all measures will be taken to ensure the project's proper execution and the achievement of the development objectives by adhering to all procedures and ensuring resources are used transparently and honestly. Meanwhile, the World Bank resident representative in Niger, Han Frietes, said the project has the potential to transform the country's economic foundation and improve access to market, schools and health centers. According to him, the agreement considers climate resilience issues to ensure the sustainability of infrastructure in a challenging environmental context, and it will enable the government to establish an effective and sustainable road maintenance system.
Christopher Teacher reporting there.
Politics, analysis on major news, social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
This segment of Newslink takes us to Liberia, where reactions are trailing the government's election as a non-permanent member on the United Nations Security Council for the period 2026 to 2027. Despite this achievement, many Liberians, including civil society organizations, are expressing concerns about the current state of governance on President Joseph Boakai's administration. They are worried about alleged misuse of power, inequitable justice, and lack of transparency and accountability. Our guest is Anderson Miame, the Executive Director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia.
We've welcomed the decision as an organization and personally too as a Liberian because it presents enormous opportunities. But the hope is that the government of Liberia, working with citizens and partners, will make the most of its presence on the UN Security Council as a non-permanent member.
This is also coming at the time the current Liberian government is being criticized for abuse of power and not ensuring fair justice. How can Liberia begin the process from within its own cycle before extending to cross-border countries as it reaches this far?
That's one of the most important things that people have been saying. And we have also raised that point about the government leading by example. If you're talking about sitting on the UN Security Council to make decisions or to shape global decisions that will promote peace and security, that will help to address the costs or the causes of conflicts across the world, of which corruption is a key part or bad governance is a key part, then you have to do more locally to ensure that you are leading by example, you are operating transparently and accountably, you are utilizing your resources properly, and you're doing those things that will promote the rule of law. So if you can't do that, there will be a contradiction to go at that very highest level to talk about maintaining peace and order across the globe. So it presents an opportunity for us to participate at the global level to influence decisions, but then also presents an opportunity for the government to work with the different stakeholders to do more to ensure that there is transparency. For example, we deal with corruption, which is one of the major reasons that countries go to war, neglect, economic neglect, exclusion, and all the different vices that tend to promote insecurity.
Concerns are also being raised about the silence or slow pace of the workings of the War and Economic Crimes Court, which was established through a presidential decree by the president. Would you mind saying more as to how Liberia's presence on the UN Security Council will help in fast-tracking the effectiveness of the War and Economic Crimes Court?
My thought on that will be when you are present at these global forums or platforms, they give you the space to engage. So as much as Liberia will be making decisions that will influence or shape global policies and actions towards maintaining peace and order, fostering development, it also presents an opportunity for Liberia to seek the interests of its own citizens. So with the War and Economic Crimes Code and all the other things that we aim to do, dealing with corruption, for example, having specialized courts that can deal with corruption issues, increasing funding or support to public integrity institutions, dealing with audit and other related issues, dealing with issues from the war. These are all different policy different priorities that the government of Liberia can put before the different partners while engaging to foster peace and security across the region or across the world. Liberia will also be leveraging that space to engage with partners and mobilize resources for these different priorities.
Anderson Miame is the Executive Director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. And now in the world of sports, Spain starlets Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams dazzled as La Roja beat France 5-4 in a trailer in Stuttgart on Thursday to set up a Europe Nations League final with Portugal. Yamal backed a brace while Williams scored and provided an assist as the two wingers caught France's makeshift defense. Mikel Merino and Pedri were also on the score sheet for the Euro 2024 champions. Kylian Mbappé netted a second-half penalty, but Spain were 5-1 up and cruising before Les Blues suddenly woke up as their opponents took their foot off the pedal. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo scored the winner in a 2-1 victory over Germany in Munich on Wednesday, sending Portugal through to the Nations League final and breaking his run of bad fortune against the Germans. Ronaldo's 68th minute tap in, a recorded extending 137 international goals, sealed the first win over Germany after 5 losses, his longest streak against an international side without tasting victory. And after a stuttering first half, Florence Rats produced a moment of magic to give Germany the lead 3 minutes after half-time, starting and finishing a clever Hertz through the middle and heading in the opener. However, they were in Sussex 4. And that's the latest in the world of sports. With that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. Thank you for listening, and many thanks to Mustafa Sek and Sheikh Njai for the technical support. To interact with us via our social media platforms, X, Instagram at WADR English, and on Facebook, WADR English Service. By 1 p.m., Demba Amaan will be here with the comprehensive news in French, which is Info chez vous. Until then, I am Augustine Curley. Good afternoon.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, New Me FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.6.